Alright, hello everyone, welcome to today's stream. Okay. Alright, so today I'm going to be doing some art for Duel. I actually only just really started this map. We're going to, obviously not a finished product. I literally just started it for like 40 minutes or so far. We're just going to get right into it. I'm going to continue working on the walls at the moment, and yeah, today's goal is just to draw this map. Obviously, it's a lot of stock graphics right now. We're just going to make it all custom. It's not going to look anything like this by the time I'm done with it. But, you know, these things take time. So without further ado, let's play some music. If anyone's out there, let me know if the audio needs balancing at all, because it's hard to tell with YouTube music if it's too loud, too low, or whatever. So let me know. We're going to be listening to Baths right now. In case you never heard of them. And we'll just switch up music whenever the hell I feel like it. Or if someone has a real issue with it. I guess, maybe. Maybe. If you're good. If you're good, I'll let you suggest music if you're good. In bed with me. If not. No. Alright, Photoshop. Let's get going. As long as my Photoshop is not going to lag. My stream settings might be a little too much for it. Definitely a little laggy. Do I have to reset the stream? Because, a little laggy. Let's see, let me draw something. Ain't something. It's... No, okay, it's alright, the moving this is a little laggy, but otherwise, it's acceptable. Okay, did I finish putting all the walls down? I'm missing a few spots. Okay. Right now I'm just filling in the walls with like basic stuff, and then I'm gonna go into the walls and detail them, make them not so copy-paste looking, because I know they look copy-paste. But, you know, like I said, things take time. A while since I've done art streams like this. So just got that part right. For those that don't know, I have jaw issues, so if I'm doing that or anything, it's not. It's just, yeah, I have arthritis in my jaw, basically. It doesn't hurt. I'm just keeping it loose. That's all it is. You know, we're probably gonna just... we're probably... Yeah. I think there's no need for that to be so complex. No need for so complex. You should play Mario Maker since you like creating. I hate Mario. Hate Mario. Boring. Stupid. Yeah, there's no need to make that wall extra complex like that. This is still going to be a staircase here. What I do is I just take the stock graphics and I just lay out the map and just sort of generally put things where they are. In this case, I didn't put too much detail into it just because I'm probably going to draw most of it. I'm going to make it up anyway. So I don't really need that. I just needed to know, like, where stairs are, where's the ceiling, where's the floor. Like, you know, I just need to know where that stuff is so I can line it up with everything. Otherwise, you know, Obviously, I'm not using these stock graphics. But welcome to the stream, Punchar. Pleasure to see you, as always. Make this... Why did it... No. Control T. Thank you. Not T. I don't need text. I don't need text on my wall. It's fine. It's gonna be moved around anyway. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all the walls filled in. Okay, let's go ahead and make these walls a little more detailed. And also make them less noisy. A lot of copy paste. This is the boring part. So, I mean, if you've never been to an art stream before, you're new to them, these things take time. So, prepare for a lot of downtime of just watching me fuck around with shit. And I didn't catch what you said. I hate Mario games? Yes. I think they are what I call over-designed. There's no... You have to do it... Like, they're basically platformers that amount to quick time events, because you have to do what the developers intended you to do, because the level design is so strict. You can't do anything else. There's no learning of new moves, there's no learning of new mechanics, it's all just the same fucking shit over and over and over again until you reach the end of the game. It's incredibly, incredibly dull. So, time to... There we go. Clean this up stuff. All I'm doing right now, this is the boring stuff, making these walls look less copy and paste. It's gonna take time, so. Enjoy! If you ever get bored with, like, art streams, honestly, like, watch for, like, 15 minutes or so, maybe come back in an hour, see where I'm at. I might still be doing the same stuff for an hour, but we might jump around from walls. Like, I don't need to be doing walls all the time. I might jump to, like, the floor or something. But this is going to take a lot of time to make these things less copy-paste. Have I played Yoshi's Island? I love Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island is great. It's not a Mario game. It's not. It's a Yoshi game. It's not a Mario game. Love Yoshi's Island. I'm also making them less square walls because they don't need to be square. Or at least that square. But it's not a Mario game, Punchar. It's still not a Mario game. Why I like it. Not such ham-fisted garbage. Nintendo doesn't treat you like much of a retard in those things. Part of Nintendo's problem. It's like early Square Enix with Final Fantasy. They treated Americans like retards. Which isn't wrong. It's not as strict as Mario, though. And there's a lot of, like, bonus stuff that you don't have to do in the levels. That's why I like it, whereas Mario is just go to point A to point B, basically amounting to QuickTime events because the developers tightened it so much that you can't only do the moves that they wanted you to do, so it's basically a platformer with a QuickTime event. It's basically what Mario is, especially nowadays. You know, maybe you could argue Super Mario 64 is not that kind of thing, but everything after that, yeah, it's maybe not Super Mario Sunshine. That's another one that's... I didn't like it, but I admit it's not, like, strict in terms of what you do. But like, anything in the past, like, 5 years, yeah. It's pretty retarded in my book. Boring level design. I don't like Sunshine. Nope. Don't like Sunshine. I mean, then again, I don't care about Mario. So, like... who the fuck is Mario, right? Like, he doesn't have a personality. I don't care about him. I don't care about Peach. I don't care about Luigi. I don't care about any of them. They might as well not have names. They might as well be called Dave and Bob. That's what they might as well be called. I don't mean to like harp. Like, if you want me to be like talk about something I do like, or bring up another topic, you know, don't mind me being a negative nanny. Don't mind me. I just don't like Nintendo. Everything I do like from Nintendo, Nintendo continually shits on.
It takes a lot of courage to go out there and radiate your essence.
Is the audio balance okay, Puncher? I hate Mario because he's a normie. I hate Mario because he has no personality, and his gameplay is boring because it's the same fucking thing over and over again. I love Banjo-Kazooie because those characters actually have personalities and they learn new moves throughout the game, so there's actually new mechanics that you learn, and there's free-form level design. The audio's okay? Thanks for letting me know, buddy. Because, you know, unless you're a regular viewer of mine, you may not actually care enough to actually tell me, like, hey, this shit's not good. So that's why I always ask my regulars to help me out, because I know you give a shit. Not blaming random people for not giving a shit. I'm just saying, like, random people are not going to care enough. Because they don't like me yet. I haven't wooed them like I have you. With my wiles and charm. And penis. Especially with penis. Yeah, see, that's much less noisy. Much less noisy. Especially want to soften these big dark lines. It's gonna take time. I might copy and paste some of this and like deviate from there. I'm basically further deviating from what we had before, just to make it look less copy and paste. I also need it to be less noisy because there's actually gonna be paintings on these walls. I mean, I told you before, Punchar, I don't care, like, about women. I just don't care. Yeah, people can take that however they like. I don't care. Just don't. Just do not care. I mean, basically, that's my way of saying I don't make any special concessions, so I don't care. Not about that life. Yeah, man, work with me. There we go. You're gonna get hookers? Have fun, I guess. Have fun. Stay safe. Safe as possible. It's really impossible to be safe like that, but, you know. You do you. Or I guess if you could do you, you wouldn't be doing hookers. Joke of the stream right there. Go. Bit of a dark wall. Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to make this wall really custom, because I am spending a lot of time on this wall. I'm going to make this wall pretty custom, and copy-paste some of that, and then deviate from there, and just keep doing that. So that way each time I'm deviating a little bit, and that way it looks way less copy-paste. That's the goal here. Just make it look less copy-paste. You know, I mean, it's a wall. It's not, you know, it's not, you know, the most important thing. go. That's looking okay. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate this stuff, because I know a lot of people, when they see art streams, they like expect like quick shit, and it's like art is never quick. it's never like, you can, like, you know, like I recommend looking up like 8-minute drawing challenges. Those are great. I love doing them. I haven't done them in recent times, but I really should, because they're great. It's impressive what you can draw in just 5 seconds. It's impressive. It's not going to look good, but it's impressive. You know, can you communicate the idea of a snake in 5 seconds? Can you communicate the idea of a bird in 5 seconds? You know, stuff like that. It's good practice. But this is working art. You know, this is the stuff players are going to see when they're in the game, so it has to look not copy-paste. It doesn't need to look beautiful. I mean, it's a wall. No one's gonna think like, oh man, Duel? Best walls in the game. Best walls. You know? So they're not important, but this stuff does take time because it requires being hand-painted to not look copy-paste. I can only, you know, transform and rotate things so much to make them look different. It's, you know. And eventually I'm gonna have to get nitty-gritty with it. Like this. Just dig in there.
They're sort of animal language, really.
But once this wall is detailed a little bit, I can copy paste it and then just deviate from this wall, because this wall already looks better than everything else. So, work smart, not hard, but this isn't hard. This is like an example of like process. This is just process work. And a lot of art is just process. It's not necessarily difficult, it's just process. I don't make Flash games. I don't actually program. I use RPG Maker because I can't program, and I don't want to. And I know people are gonna think, oh, with limitations, play my games. You'll see that there's not as much limitation as you would think. You could do a lot of creative stuff with it. It's really a matter of develop. It's like saying Unity sucks because there's a bunch of shitty Unity games. You know, it's no different. There's more of a stigma attached with RPG Maker, but again, you're trying, like, a lot of people think that RPG Maker sucks as an engine because they see a bunch of hobbyists doing things with it. I'm not a hobbyist. I mean, I don't do this for a living. I do this as a passion project, but the point is, I am a professional. I'm not a hobbyist. I'm not doing this for the purposes of, like, showing my friends. I'm doing this for the purposes of asking money for it. So, what people do is they tend to compare freeware RPG Maker stuff with paid for things, and you can't do that because it's no different than doing that with like Unity or something. Obviously, the hobbyist is not going to do a very good job, generally speaking. I'm not saying that no hobbyist is good. I'm just saying, generally speaking, they're not going to do as good as a professional who, you know, has made games for over 10 years. I've actually made games for 11 years, actually. I hate when you do that. There we go. I have that style of speech. I mean, I am articulate. I agree. I don't talk much, honestly. Like, if you talk to anyone who's ever interacted with me, like 99% of people who I've actually interacted with, they would tell you I don't talk, because I don't. But it's not like I'm incapable of it, or that I'm not good at it. No, I don't like small talk. I don't like bullshit, so part of it. Alright, I keep going up like that. I'm being too repetitive there. There we go. See, that's a new one. See, like this, I kept going like up. It's like go down. Go down. Go like straight down like that. See, there you go. That's new. And sometimes I'm just like doubling these lines a little bit. Because I just don't want them to be so dark that they're like making too much noise. So like that, I'm just dulling them a little bit. Sort of like cracks in the wall. Little bits of extra depth. I think it's been like at least... Yeah, it's gotta be at least have been like 3 months since I've done an art dev stream. Game dev stream, whatever. All I show is art. I don't show anything else really, because I don't think anyone wants to sit there and watch me write shit or anything like that. Plus I don't want to live stream that. I can live stream this. It's a little, you know, nerve-wracking to a degree just because I haven't done it so long. But I'd rather like stream myself doing art, stream myself writing something. Too much pressure to like constantly be typing something. Especially stuff like this, I can just do like it's just process. I don't really need to use my brain for this per se. Matter of time. That's all it is. Time. Because anyone can do this. You could have a monkey do this, you know. This isn't like a skill level thing. It's just, you know, making it look not repetitive as possible. The wall. Walls tend to look repetitive in real life. You ever look at a wall? And some places can stay pretty noisy. Like, you know, there's not so much noise over here. There's some noise over here. I am not allowed to post my stream there anymore, Punchak. The admin said so. The admin makes the rules. I mean, at that point, I left. And so, if the admin doesn't want, who used to be one of the most active posters there, that's the admin's business. It's his website. He can do what he wants. I don't, you know, take an issue with it, but I have no reason to be there. Because I started showing my face because of the face cam. There was 2 viewers who I used to have that stopped watching me because of the face cam, and they were like, I liked you until the face cam, and I'm like, I don't see what the face cam did to make you not like me. Because it's not like I'm using the face cam just to like be an attention whore. I'm using it because I can actually express myself. Like, I even mentioned this when I first got the face cam. Like, I would take a drink of water and nothing would be happening in the game, but you couldn't see me taking a drink of water or something, so I would have to verbally say, I'm taking a drink, that's why nothing is happening in the game or something. I don't have to do that anymore, because now, you can just fucking see, I'm drinking. So, little issues like that, fixed. Otherwise, also I get the facial interaction, so you could tell various things without me having to explain. Like, if I was frustrated at a video game as well, I would have to explain that I'm frustrated, rather than you could see it in my face. I missed what you said. I know. I don't know what's wrong with the face cam. I mean, if I was, like, showing you my dick or something, like, you know, I get it. I would also be banned off Twitch, but, you know, I'd get it. That's, like, attention whoring, but a face cam, for me, specifically me, like, it's different for every streamer, sure. But for me, I think a face cam really helps, because I can be expressive, and I'd rather not have to explain things that could be seen in body language. Because it's really annoying to have to be like, I'm taking a drink, guys. Give me a second. It's really rather annoying. This wall is just about done, and I can copy-paste this, and then deviate from just this. This looks good. I think this looks pretty good. Hate when you do that. Don't want it doing that diagonal thing. I guess they do. I think it has something to do with like a rule against showing your identity. But my identity doesn't really exist on the internet. Like, yeah, if you go to the donation page, you'll see my PayPal information and you'll see my supposed name. But number one, you don't know if that's my actual name. Number two, go ahead and Google that name. See how far that gets you. It's not going to get you very far. There's like 50 of us. Okay? There's like 50 people with that name. Okay? So even if we go off to the assumption that it is my real name, you're not going to find me. You're going to find lawyers. You're going to find doctors. There's a lot of lawyers and doctors with that name. But you're not going to find me because my name does not exist. Tied to me, personally. My name doesn't exist on the internet. It just doesn't. So, not really revealing my identity. Clarel Sheckelstein? Yeah, that's my real name. Found me out in Flamus, and Flamus just doxed me on stream, guys. I'm out. Stream's over. Can't take this anymore. Fucking bullshit. Welcome to the stream, in Flamus. Glad you could be here. This is the boring stuff, but once I finish this wall and maybe do a few more deviations, I think we're gonna start doing the floor just to mix it up for you guys. And I don't mind jumping around, because you're supposed to jump around. When you're painting or drawing anything, you're supposed to jump around. Like, one of the things my professors would always tell me, and any good artist will tell you, is you're supposed to be drawing the whole picture at once. You're supposed to be painting the whole painting at once. You're not supposed to be painting just the grass. You're supposed to be painting the house, the grass, the sky, all at once. So do a little bit of grass, do a little bit of sky, get it around there, and see where everything fits. So, again, this is process stuff. This isn't skill stuff, so this takes more time, honestly, than skill stuff. Skill stuff takes less time. Like, in this amount of time, I could have already sketched, like, a face for Duel. The face sketches, when I'm referring to face sketches, I'm referring to... Not that. That's not the sketches. Where's the sketches? Where's the folder for the sketches? Oh, is it in the reference folder? Yeah, it's in the reference folder. Yeah. See, like, these things, each of these, some of these are not actually final sketches. Like that one right there, it's not gonna... I'm redoing that one. It's poopy, I know. These sketches take anywhere from, like, 20 to 40 minutes to do, usually. So in the same time that I'm doing all this process stuff, could have, like, done a sketch. You know? So skill stuff actually tends to take less time. Because the sketches are more about skill than time. This is not, like, you know, anyone can do this. All they need to know is how to use a paintbrush. That's all they need to know. Okay. This wall is looking pretty okay. I just want to... a little bit here, because it's a little naked over there. A little too naked over there. There you go. See, now, compare that to the rest of the walls. Again, process, minor details, but it makes a difference because that looks a lot less copy-paste. And now what I'm going to do is take that, copy-paste that somewhere else, and then use that as, like, the basis for deviation. So that way it looks even less copy and paste for everything else. And some walls I'll do just like that. But, like, we'll just do this one real quick. All we're going to do is flip horizontal. Shorten it a little bit. All we're going to do... put it away. And I don't mind deleting the other wall that was over here, because again, we're going to use this as the basis now for everything. The first part was just filling in the stuff, so I, you know. can work from them if I want to work from them and deviate from that. And now we just deviate from this real quick. This will be real quick and snappy. Super easy. Again, it's going to take maybe 5 minutes to do this one compared to like the 30 minutes that the other one took, because we're just deviating from this one. Clean this up, make it a little emptier. There you go. It's deviated enough. Doesn't look that copy and paste. Like I said, once you get the first one done, I can deviate from that pretty quickly. I do live in America, and that is all the information you're going to get about where I live. Because I know you asked before, Punchar, about which coast I'm on. Sorry, not going to go into that details. We're going to leave that wall alone, because that one will deviate from again. This one, I can do this. Flip it vertical. Why won't I reveal where exactly I live? That's like a, what's it called? Rhetorical question, right? Knock this down. Like I said, now we just work from this. Why am I not... Is it not doing it? Claro, give me your address, ID, and credit card number, please. Sure, my social security is. My bank account information is. Here's my PayPal. Technically, you have access to my PayPal via the donation thing. Why is this not drawing? I don't understand. What is... It's on the paintbrush, but it's not... Is it selected something? Is that why? That's why. I must have accidentally selected something, because I was like, why is it not doing it? Yeah, you just deviate from here. Like I said, sometimes you can just dull something. You can just dull it a little bit, and it changes it significantly enough. So once we got that first wall done, as you can see, just a lot quicker. Get the other ones going. Now this is a bigger one, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but again, I just got to mix it up. Just a little bit here and there. It's not that big of a deal. I don't want to get too crazy with it. Because again, there's going to be paintings on these anyway. Do I like fast food like McDonald's? No. The only fast food I will eat is Subway. That's about it. Otherwise, not so much. Subway is just bread. I like Subway. Maybe I like just bread. Maybe I like wood too. Hard, firm wood. Firmly between my lips. Nothing like good hard wood in the morning. Know what I'm saying? Who needs whole grain fiber when you've got wood? Beautiful, beautiful wood. And really what'll make these walls look even different is the fact that there will be paintings on them, so... You know, that's where the big detail comes. Why are you not coloring it as dark as I want it to? Why are you not... This is the color I want, thank you. Thank you, there we go. Good Photoshop, who's a good boy? Who's your good boy? Like, I could have sworn I was selecting that. There you go, different enough. Doesn't gotta be that, you know, ridiculous. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the floor. Let's start doing this. Just to mix it up. For both me and you guys. Because, you know, gotta keep your wrist all nice and safe. So the floor. Right, what we're gonna do is this also lets us change up the floor a little bit. Not the floor, the walls. Okay, so take this color, brighten it up. Not too much of a skin color. I do want it to be brighter. Because it's the ground you walk on. It's, yeah, part of game design. You want that to be like the thing that's important. Okay. I can use a way bigger brush. See, here's the fun part about the floor. I don't have to be so small. I'm going to show you how we can also mix up the walls doing this. On one hand, I gotta read your message, Punchar. On the other hand, it's about women sucking your dick, and I just don't care. I don't want you to tell me anything about women, because I don't care. I don't know how I haven't made that clear yet, Punchar. I don't care. I don't think anyone else does either. Besides you. So one of the ways we can actually mix up the walls now is actually by curving them a little bit. So what I can do now that I have a floor, first, paint under there. So there's floor underneath it. And now, do a little bit of that. I think I did a little too much. A little too much. Nope, wrong color. There you go. Just curving it a little bit like that. There we go. That's a lot better. Is that just the under graphics? That is. Yeah, I know. I don't care. Do we need I don't need to discuss any of this. I don't care. Too much. Gotta be careful with it. Gotta be careful with it. I want it to be a little more circular, but can't take too much away. Fuck. And it's not the brush size that's the issue. It's just my finger is not being stable enough. So there you go. Now we can make these a little circle. Or even a little diagonal like that. May or may not keep that, but yeah. And then we can actually go back to the wall. Was I using the eraser or... Yeah, okay. I was making sure I was using the eraser and not the brush. I might have been using the brush. Oh well. Should be fine. we have the possibility for making the wall even more interesting. Because we could, in theory, like do like this kind of curved stuff. Why you gotta be a dick, Photoshop? Why you gotta be a dick? Why you gotta be a dick? I'm not pressing that key. I don't know what key you think I'm pressing. I know my laptop is old. I don't know what key you think I'm pressing here. Punchar, this is your last warning. I don't care. Stop talking about it. Because technically, I'm using Trillion for this. I'm pressing E. I don't know what your damage is. I'm pressing E for eraser, not E for show me the fucking pop-up menu. Jesus Christ. I don't care if it's hypothetical. I don't care. That's your warning. You can either pick a new topic, or you're gonna make me open up Twitch to actually be able to moderate you, because I don't know if I have a moderator here. And I can't moderate you through Trillion, which is what I'm using right now to see chat messages without getting in the way of my screen space. And you don't want me to have to do that. You don't want me to have to do that, because then I'm gonna have to open up Twitch, and I'm only gonna do that once. So you're gonna not be talking for a while, and I don't want to do that. Don't want it. And I don't want to talk about this topic anymore. Keep going on and on about fucking women. I don't care. No one else does either. I mean, how hard is it to have other interests besides pussy? I mean, that difficult? I find it pretty easy. I don't want to talk about this freaking shit. Die. Solidify that a little more. That's the angle. I mean, this is probably incredibly unnecessary, but you know. I just wanted to show that we can do with this now with a floor there. We can actually indicate that the walls are actually kind of curvy a little, at least a little. Oh, whoa! All right, sorry I hit the button on my pen. Christ, fuck. Chill the fuck out, nigga. Just chill out. It's just on my mind. I can't help it. You can by not talking about it. My stream is not the place to talk about your pussy fantasy. It's just not the place. It's not appropriate. There's forums for that. This is not a forum for that. Is that the end of the playlist? That's the end of the playlist. Alright, Roman music time until I get tired of this stuff. Quote unquote Roman music. Just call the Roman music, it's not actually Roman music. Hey Ruinat, thank you. A moderator has arrived. I told Punchar no more talking about pussy. He talks about pussy again, feel free to fucking sit him down a little bit. Because I didn't want to fucking... I don't want to have to open up Twitch and start moderating myself. Because if I have to do that, you're just gonna get permanently, like, shut up. Because I'm not opening it up again. Okay. So now, back to the floor. So not every wall is gonna be, you know, that curvy. but it creates a nice little, like, ooh, this is the hallway, you know? Right, it's the mods. And Flamus, you're fine. I couldn't possibly be upset with you. I think that's impossible. And you see I'm doing this little curvy thing here, because it's fine. I just don't need to, like, it could just not be a walking space. You know? It doesn't need to be the most perfect little thing. Because I'm gonna, like I said, when I'm done with this map, it's not gonna look anything like all this square stuff. I don't like Smash Brothers. For some reason, this topic comes out a lot on my stream. I'm gonna say this again. I don't like Nintendo. There you go. Don't like Nintendo. That's about as clear as I can be. Don't like Nintendo. Music slightly lower, please. Absolutely. How's that? That is slightly lower. I'm gonna do this. There we go. Get rid of this floor. This is gonna be ceiling over here. It's gonna be ceiling. There's nothing gonna be over there anyway. Too much. There we go. It's gonna be ceiling anyway. Quote unquote ceiling. I'm actually not gonna render the ceiling entirely. Like, you see all this square stuff over here? That's not gonna be there. It's just gonna be black. Because Pillars of Eternity did it, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do that too, because that way I don't have to actually draw the freaking ceiling. A little too similar. Do I drink? Nope. Don't drink. I've said that plenty of times on stream too. Are you like not here, Punchar? Because I know you're a regular. How do you not hear this stuff? Pretty like well-known information for my regulars that I don't drink. Don't do it. I want the arena to be somewhat closed off, but not, you know, square, per se. Be a little square here and there, but otherwise, fine with these little flowing curves. Nice music. I know alcohol is poison, that's why I don't drink it. Like that. Oh, perfect. Perfect. That nice and straight. Nice and straight. Go. A little too much. If you want to reduce anxiety, I recommend kava. It's not legal in a lot of Europe apparently, but it's like alcohol except it's not poison. It doesn't intoxicate you. It just calms you down. It doesn't actually do anything else. It doesn't mentally, you know, make you inebriated or anything. Inebriated. I don't know what the hell I said. Okay, so the floor is there. Again, the floor is going to be more detailed. Very easy to do that. I'm not worried about it yet. What I want to do now is add a bit of the ceiling stuff. Yep, that's how you spell it. Just like that. You can find it on Amazon. Again, it's apparently illegal in Germany. That's all I know about. It might be illegal in other countries in Europe. In America, it's legal. And again, it doesn't get you high. It calms you down. And it doesn't mentally impair you whatsoever. I could be on kava right now. On kava, it's not really a drug, really. It's an herbal supplement in my book. The difference between like a drug and an herbal supplement is drugs tend to be synthetically created. Kava's just powder from a root. It's just a root converted into powder. That's it. There's nothing synthetic in it. It's just kava. Just be careful, of course, with any herbal supplement. Make sure you're getting organic, and make sure you're getting no fillers. I recommend Samsara. Let me type that for you. The brand I use is Samsara, and they are completely organic, and they don't have fillers in it, and it's USDA organic approved, which doesn't necessarily mean that much. It does mean it is, at least to a certain percentage, like within a 99% degree organic. But I recommend Samsara. That's the brand I use for various herbal supplements I take, because I also occasionally take stuff for like arthritis because of my jaw, and swelling and things like that. But they're a good company. They give you coupons out the ass too. You like buy from them once, and they email you and they say, "Hey, first things first. Here's a coupon for 20% off your next order." and it doesn't expire. Okay, next thing I want to do is back to walls. Let's just go back to walls, because I want to get the walls done before I do the ceiling thing. Because the ceiling is going to be black, but it's going to have like. So, like, here's the wall. There's going to be a little bit of, like, a little detail, like a little like, arch sort of thing above it. Like, a little bit of a piece of the wall sticking out to sort of indicate a ceiling. And it'll wrap up a little bit into the blackness. That's the idea. Instead of having to draw, like, all these little fucking ceiling bits. Instead of having to do that, you just make it black and just curve up a little bit just to indicate that's where the ceiling is. And then you can put shadow beneath that, which adds depth to the wall. Actually, I have a lighting program that I'm going to try using. I don't know if we're going to have time for it today, because it depends on how much I get done of this map. But when the map is, like, groundwork is laid out, I can actually show you what's called Sprite Illuminator, which I just looked at it for 5 seconds, but it basically does the lighting for you. You just tell it where the light source is in the image, and it'll wrap around stuff that you tell it to. So it'll wrap around walls and everything. Really cool. I haven't played with it more than 5 seconds, but the 5 seconds I did play with it, I was very impressed with how you can make the light anything. You can make it sun, you can make it a lamp, you can make it a hard light, soft light. Very easy to do, and it just automatically takes care of, like, the shading of an environment, for example, or character. How much time do I have today? As much as I want. I clicked as much as I want. But it depends on how long until people get tired of it. Okay, so back to walls. And again, I'm just gonna deviate a little bit here and there. I did steal a little too much of the wall there, apparently, but it's fine. I could just go back here. Delete. There you go. The song is louder? Okay, I can turn it down again. How's that? Let me know how that is. Music during these kind of live streams is always weird for me to, like, balance properly. Because, like, game stuff, I can pretty much leave it at the same thing no matter what. Unless the game's audio is really not balanced very well. Okay, what we're going to do is... I should have actually copy-pasted this again. This part of the wall. What we're going to do is shorten a little bit. Flip. Bring it up. Stretch it down. Work smart, not hard. Cut it off. There you go. This still might be a little too noisy. And of course, as you can see, where I combine the two ones, you can see that little split there, which is obvious. Obviously, I can fix that, but, you know, very, very simple to fix that. But at least I took care of the majority of the wall. And all I really gotta do is just blend it up. We can get in here, do a little bit more. Deviation. Again, this is a lot of time. It's just time. I know it doesn't look the prettiest right now, but like I said, it's gonna, this stuff takes time before it all puts together. So if you're coming to an art stream and you've never been to one before and you're like, hey, do this now, that's just not how it works. It's just not how it happens. It takes time. I mean, Ruinout was here the last time I did an art stream with the face, and he saw that I basically redrew the face entirely because it just looked terrible. Alright, we do need to cut that part off. Just because that's looking weird. There you go, problem solved. It just needs to look less repetitive. Now, before I go any further, I want to go ahead and put a painting on the wall and see how noisy the wall is compared to the painting. So, the way I'm doing this is I'm going to be making my own paintings, but I'm also going to be using actual ancient Roman art. And you may think, well, that's illegal. Copyright is not a thing for ancient Roman art. Not a thing. So what we're going to do is actually take this, move it into a new file. Because I need to just edit this a little bit. Yeah, because I'm going to need to, at the very least, cut this out. And so this is actually, of course, an actual ancient Roman artist that made this. There's no copyright to it. And I don't want to, you may think, oh, it's lazy to do this or something. Yeah, but, I mean, video games do this all the time. There's tons of ancient art in video games, all types of video games. So it's not, lazy. I consider it more of an honor, like honoring ancient artists by sort of also immortalizing them even further than they have been. So, crop. There you go. And I can probably just work with that. Because obviously I'm going to put it on the wall. Animal Crossing, yeah. I don't need to copy that. It's locked. There you go. Over. So now the question is, can I minimize it to a certain degree? I don't need to get the whole thing. I just need the main element, which is this face, to be relatively clear. And the player would see it at about that height. That's how they would see it. So that looks pretty okay. You don't want to downsize it too much, because then, of course, if you do that too much, that still looks okay, but, you're losing a lot of detail. But I don't need to use the whole thing. I just need his head to be fully on the wall. So what we're going to do is cut this off. And again, this is completely legal. It's an ancient artist from Rome. Completely legal. There's nothing, no copyright on 1,000-year-old artwork. So, oh, but it's in a textbook, Clairol. It doesn't matter, they don't have copyright to it. What you can see is that's how that looks on the wall as a painting. And we're gonna soften it up a bit to make it not so artificial. But I'm just also determining. Right now, I'm just determining is the wall too noisy? Because if you put it full like that, it looks stupid, right? Because it doesn't look like it's sitting on the wall. But the question is the wall too noisy? And I think it's actually pretty okay. I'm kind of surprised by that. It's not too noisy, because the reason I want to start putting paintings on is because it even does less work for me. Because now that painting is on there, it looks way less copy and paste. Right? Even if it's the same background lines as everything else so far, really, it looks less copy and paste because it's covered up, all that stuff. So the paintings being added to it actually makes my job easier in terms of making things look less repetitive for the walls. So I'm going to go ahead and do a clipping mask. Go ahead and soften this puppy up and make it more sitting on the wall. Because, this square thing, not looking so good. Alright, that needs to be way reduced. Because I really want it to be super soft. There we go. I'm just softening it up. Because again, I don't need the whole thing. I don't need the signature. No one's going to know who it is, and no one's going to be able to read it, so it's fine. What I'm actually going to do is actually get rid of this wall. Little orb part of it. And you may say, well, clearly you were trying to like respect the artist, so you're kind of removing a little bit much. Yeah, but I mean, I'm getting the main parts, you know? I guess you could argue that. You can make that argument that I'm not respecting the artist by getting rid of some of this stuff. But I have to worry more about my game composition at the end of the day. Okay, so very soft. Very soft. Just kind of like tapping my tablet right now, just to really soften that up. And that way it sits on the wall a lot better. Just gonna move this up one bit, move it down, just so that part of the circle is going from the top to bottom. Throw off more of that. Perfect. Now it looks like it actually sits on the wall a lot better. And the player would see it at about this height is where the player's perspective actually is in terms of the camera. So the player would see it at about this height. And at this height, looks pretty good. Looks decent enough. I might just actually rotate it because that way it just looks better facing like the edge of the wall. And there you go. So that's an example of what I talked about earlier with regards to putting paintings on the wall to sort of deviate stuff. And again, it's completely legal. You can call it lazy all you like. I don't think so. Tons of games do this stuff. I mean, the real question is, am I going to use every single painting that I've got so far? And I can go ahead and grab others. Like this, I might not use. Not sure why I grabbed this. I mean, I like the cat. I might just take the cat part. Because I like the cat attacking the bird. Because it's a gladiator game, right? So I kind of like that animalistic stuff to it. Oh, this one I kept for obvious reasons. I'm not above humor in my games. And this is an actual ancient Roman work. That is a penis. That is a penis. I'm not above humor. Not above that. This is nice. That's nice. Might use that. I also have paintings from an anonymous user on a forum. And he said it was fine for me to use his stuff as well. Because the reason I'm going to make my own paintings at some point, not right now on live stream, because I'm going to have to sketch them out and everything, and I do that on paper. I don't do that on the computer because my tablet does not have a screen. So I can't draw. Imagine drawing without looking at your hand. That's basically what drawing on this is like. It's shit. It's good for painting, because I don't need to stare at my hand for painting, but when I'm drawing, I'm doing this. When I'm painting, I can do this. I can live with that. But the reason I'm using also other people's artwork with their permission, and he's anonymous, so it's like, he doesn't care. I asked him though, but he said it's cool. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't want the artwork to just represent just like me in a way, because I want the gladiators who are making these paintings to have their own sort of art style, and the best way to do that is to grab other people's work with their permission, and so that way it's not just my art preferences or art style or anything like that. So there you go. I'm not going to shove too many paintings here and there. You know, again, I can also do my own details on the wall, like a hole, a rat hole, something like that. Maybe some hanging cloth or something that I can put on. Things like that is also going to be something I do. So, and again, this is nothing here is final. You know, I'm just live streaming this stuff, but nothing here is final, so. By the time you actually see this in the game, like, this painting might not be on this wall. So, but I'm liking that. I'm liking that. It looks okay. Obviously, I need to still be doing a lot more of changes on the walls. But, looking okay. Did I miss a chat message recently? No? Okay. Whoopsies. You click in Firefox and not Photoshop. Okay, so next thing to do... Yeah, let's just keep doing more of the wall stuff. Okay. What I'm gonna do, make this part of the wall. See, again, just because I deviated from the other stuff, now it's more easier. It's more easily done to... Whoops. It's more easily done. More easy to make other things look less repetitive. Because I could just steal parts of the other wall and just paste it over there, and then tune it up a bit. Again, this is the boring stuff, by and large. We got a little interesting there with the paintings, but, you know. Walls gotta get done. I'd be satisfied just doing the walls for today, because this is gonna take time. That's not the most exciting part, but, you know. I didn't have a character available for me to paint today. Not really. I mean, I could have painted a face. I do have a sketch ready, but I need to alter the sketch a little bit. I'm not satisfied fully with the sketch. Ruinot knows what the sketch is. It's the deformed Asian guy. That's a weird way to putting it, but that's what it is. It's a deformed Asian guy. I can actually show you. Although you can't see it. Actually, I have actually prepared for this. Because I have a special scene. There we go. This one's up. Not satisfied with it, so it does need some adjustment. But I could have painted that today. But it needs a bit of adjustment. It's better than the first one. But I'm not gonna redraw it entirely, but I'm just gonna erase some parts and redo it. And back to this. There we go. That's the first time I've actually used that scene, but I set it up preemptively. A while ago, I actually set that up a week ago, just to have the full webcam available, in case I needed to show something more clearly. Okay, clear this up. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you know what my problem is? I didn't change this back. 20%. So I need more than that. Otherwise I gotta push harder. Like I said, I would honestly not be offended. Oh, I hate using that word. I would not be like, you know, annoyed if like someone showed up for 10 minutes, left for like an hour, came back in 10 minutes and see where I was at. Because again, this stuff takes time. So it might be more interesting to be like, here's an hour later. Things are looking better. I mean, I think we can all agree it looks infinitely better than what it was when I first started the stream. Already as it is. But there's a lot of walls. See, here's the thing. Haven, and Ruinot knows this. Anyone who's played Haven knows that Haven didn't have this issue. Because Haven doesn't really use walls. There's like 3 maps in Haven. There's like 3 maps in Haven that actually use walls. Like, that's it. And Duel, on the other hand, takes place in a physical world. So there kind of needs to be walls.
Vindex justissime matris, fecerunt muros officiosa novos, quam vis mutus erat, voci favisse putatur piscis.
And I agree, Ruinot, that's fine. I'm fine doing that, because, you know, this is for, you know, people who either want to ask. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Did I not? Did I get rid of that? Hold on. Did I get rid of that? Okay. Where's streaming art? Is that the one I'm using now? Is that what it is? Because I don't have the Ask Game Dev thing up, which people could certainly be welcome to ask Game Dev questions. There we go. That's fine. Okay. If people had questions that they wanted to ask, they're free to do so. I just don't want to have to say that, so. But apparently I changed the image for it, so it wasn't actually in my sources. Feel free to ask anything. Or you could discuss anything. It's it's whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, Haven did not have doors. Didn't really have doors, and it didn't really have walls. So it didn't have these issues. Because, of course, if you put walls in your game, one of the issues is, how the fuck do you make them look not repetitive as fuck? And also not make your mind fucking go insane from trying to make these things look not so repetitive. So, Duel has this issue, because Duel has walls. But, different games, different design issues. At least I solved the ceiling problem. You guys haven't seen the solution yet because, I want to do the walls first. But at least we've got that pat down. Okay. Let's reduce the noise here. It doesn't quite match up with the rest of the wall. Got plenty of music on that, good. Okay. That's satisfactory. We're probably going to put another painting on there anyway. Probably. Okay. Take this. That over. And sometimes, you can get away with just using the same exact wall. Just use the same exact one. It's fine. Because what we're going to do is, again, take a little piece of this wall, copy it over here. Did that diagonal thing again. Gotta fix that. Okay, cool. That out. Sweet. A little too noisy, consistently so. Better. Okay. Almost halfway there for the walls. Almost, kinda. Actually, that doesn't even need to be a wall, because that's just gonna be ceiling. Yeah, it's just gonna be ceiling anyway. All throughout here, it's just gonna be ceiling, so that doesn't even need to be a wall. Yeah, let's go back to the floor. Smaller. The doors are gonna be like an actual event in a different graphic set. They're not actually, it's not gonna be baked into the map. All these graphics that you're seeing, these are what I would call baked in, meaning they're not mobile. They don't move, they don't change, they're just there. So these are all baked in things that don't really change. Until story events might happen or something like that. Anything that moves is going to be its own actual graphic. We're going to start doing the stairs. As like I said, you want to do the whole painting, because this basically whole map is a painting. You want to do the whole painting at once, so you're not, you know... I'm doing a lot of the walls, but the walls are a lot. So, but otherwise, I'm going to move back to the floor here and just sort of... do that. Back to the stairs. So the stairs, we're just going to put that on top as a clipping mask to the floor. Significantly reduce. Smaller. Smaller. Even smaller. Even smaller. Yeah, real small. The player's perspective is about this. They don't need to be even. The other thing, they don't need to be like evenly spaced out. Because remember, these are like Roman era It's not Rome. This game doesn't take place in Rome, but it's a Roman era thing, so it's like, doesn't need to be perfect. I'm not saying that their engineers weren't perfect at the time, obviously. I'm just saying, it don't need to be. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to indicate stairs. Specifically stairs going down, but that's a lighting thing, and you notice I'm not really doing much in terms of lighting per se, because that's going to be taken care of by a separate program, which I might just toy around just to see how it works, because again, I've only used that program for 5 seconds, but it basically is used to quickly draw lighting onto a image that you already have. That'll work. Do the floor. I am going to put detail on the floor once it's, you know, done, because see, it's going to be super simple, super easy. Getting the floor done is like the more tedious part, but actually doing the detail on it, man, that's actually really, really easy. Much easier than walls. Because the floor can have bigger lines, bigger stones, so to speak. I don't need to be so careful. I don't know why I'm being so careful. I'm being like so careful. I'm like, it goes under the walls already, so I don't really need to be that careful. And the ceiling is just going to go on top of it anyway. So again, I don't actually need to be so careful with this. I want to keep things, you know, straight where they need to be, but I don't need to be as careful as I am being. Like, if there's a wall near it, I can just draw haphazardly. That actually is missing a wall. But you know what? I'm just going to probably remove this wall. I'm just probably remove that and just make this flat. Probably just do that. I don't need to make the geometry that complex. Because honestly, I went overkill with, like, some of this geometry stuff. Make it more varied. It doesn't need to be that way. I feel like I'm just going to draw over that ceiling and just make it floor. Do this. Get rid of that. Doesn't need to be there. Good. And the wall doesn't even need to necessarily be entirely straight like that. We could get a little fancy to make these a little curved too. Again, variation like that will just occur as I continue building this up. Again, this is still not... Like, when I said we were halfway done, I said, like, the walls were, like, probably halfway done. The actual map itself, maybe 15%. Maybe 15%. Because we haven't actually put any, like, beds, drawers, whatever. And that stuff comes later. Got the groundwork done. I need to know how much space I'm working. Okay. Copy. Flip. And because this is all just a solid color, I mean that's pretty messy. that's pretty messy. But it is just a solid color, so I could stretch it out as much as I want. Probably quicker to do that than actually fill it in like this. Where did that come from? I don't know where that came from. But it's gonna go away now. I don't know where that came from. Floor's actually almost done. There you go. Now we're gonna keep that. Once the floor is set up, we can easily put the little bit of detail that's actually necessary to a floor. At least the basic stuff. Again, the wall is gonna have like probably, you know, cloth hanging from it, things like that, but I want to finish the base stuff first before we do any fancy details like that. I mean, I just kind of shoved the painting in there as like a what it's gonna look like thing. Probably no, it might not actually. Like I said, it might not exist. The actual finished map or game, for that matter. Don't mind me if I'm not talking much. Feel free to make me talk more. Ask a question, bring up a topic, whatever you want to do. Or just sit back and enjoy silence that I am currently ruining. Ever pleases you. And trust me, it's not going to just be a brown and gray map. Not going to be. It will have way more color in it. Just because it's a gladiator arena doesn't mean it's not going to look pretty. It's supposed to look pretty. Granted, these are like, the cells. These are actually like the cells where the gladiators are gonna like, sleep. That's what this is. I never mentioned that actually. That's what this map is. It's a cell block is what it's called. You could actually see that in the name over there, but I just never said it. But it doesn't mean it has to look disgusting. Gladiators actually lived rather, in a way, they lived rather luxuriously. They were slaves, but they're not like they were mostly slaves. Most gladiators, like 99% of them, were slaves, but that doesn't mean they were actually treated inherently poorly. I mean, obviously, killing each other, not the best way to be treated, but they were given great food, great training, great living accommodation. They weren't, probably had a better life than like the average Roman slave. And of course, gladiators weren't just a Roman thing. It exists in other countries. There were we think of the Colosseum, but there were like hundreds of Colosseums. There were hundreds of gladiator arenas all across the world at that point. It wasn't just a Roman. I know you had a question, Ruinat. I will get to that in just a moment. This floor for this section is... Oh, what? A little dirty whore. Thank you. Now we're cooking. Floor is actually almost done. Why the Konami code in Haven? Why not? No reason behind it. There's just a thing. That's like asking why the penis in Duel. I'm not above humor. That's an actual legit Roman painting. He's like polishing his penis. Like, of course I'm gonna put that in there. Duel's a serious game, but I'm not above humor. Haven has humor in it. Duel will be no different. I have humor in it. Already got humor in it in the writing here and there. Relatively serious, but when you're making a serious game, most indies tend to be ridiculous in terms of how serious. It's make jokes. And one of the jokes will be one of the paintings is a giant penis. A legit painting from Rome. People think of like modern day art and how it's like all vulgar and shit. I mean, there's plenty of vulgar things from any era of art. Even ancient caveman stuff. There was the I forget what it's called. It's something about Venus, because it didn't actually have a name. Obviously, it was made by like nomadic cavemen basically. But it was like an idol representing fertility, and it had big tits. It was thick. It had a big ass, big tits. So it's not like vulgar art is in any conceivable way. Will I do something like the stump hunt again? No, there's not really going to be exploration in Duel. Duel doesn't really have exploration. Duel has like dialogue, combat. That's about it. I'm not even sure there's going to necessarily... Like, the puzzles will be probably part of the combat system. There'll be puzzles built into the combat system, but I don't think there's going to be, like, exploration puzzles. I mean, you're a gladiator in an arena. How much exploration are you really going to do? Like, I do plan to, like, have you hunt animals to then capture them and then bring to the arena for purposes of fighting them. But, that's about as much exploration as there really is going to be. You're a slave. Yeah, how much do you want? Plus, as I mentioned before, everything in Duel, there's no repetitive things. Every single battle is like scripted in terms of being there. They're not avoidable. There's no random encounters. There's no leveling up. There's no grinding. So there really isn't room for a lot of that fluff. And there we have our floor, basically. basically have our floor. Floor is basically, yeah, that's good enough to me. And so now, as I said, once we... Wait, hold on. Was that drawn on the right layer? I don't know if that was drawn on the right layer or not. Ah, some of it was not drawn on the right layer. Hold on.
Not drawing on the right layer.
That part is fine. That doesn't need to be on the right layer. This needs to be on the right layer. You gotta be careful about that. Draw on the wrong layer, and all of a sudden, everything gets fucked. Will there be a pacifist way? No. What kind of... that... Alright. You know, they say there's no such thing as a stupid question. But I know you well enough, Ruin, out that you're not going to be, like, butthurt if I say this, but that was a stupid question. I'm making a gladiator game and you're asking me, is there going to be a pacifist run-through? No. No. That would be retarded. It'd be like Deus Ex where you have a run-through where you don't have any augmentations. Like, what the fuck? What's the point? Alright, so that's good enough for the floors. And now, for the fun stuff... Actually, I don't need to do that. I already had a clipping layer. Oh, that was the stairs. Okay, so I do want another clipping layer. Ask Undertale. Right, well, Undertale's not a gladiator game. It's a shit game. So, there you go. Alright, so what we're going to do... Take this color... This is the simple stuff. And we can always go darker because this is going to be super simple to do. Let me see, how big are those lines? Yeah, see? Told you. Okay, that part needs to be fixed. This is a problem. Get rid of that. Yeah, I accidentally drew some of the floor on the wall layer, and as I said, you fuck up the layer. You fuck up so many things. There you go. Because the lines for the floor were not showing up because that was on top of it. It was on the wall layer. Let's see, how big are those lines? Okay, that's good. So now, this is the easy stuff. Doesn't need to be anything fancy for the floor. In fact, you want it to be less noisy. Even less noisy than that. Because it's the floor. And you want it to be clear that this is the stuff you walk on. This is exactly actually how I did it for Haven. Just because it doesn't need to be anything fancy. Walls are a different story. When it comes to, like, floor, just this. It's fine. Oh, is that? That's part of the wall, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. Hold the phone. I thought I got rid of you.
Gotta get rid.
Ruining my plans. There you go. That was part of the wall. Copy pasting gone wrong. Hardcore. Right, see, now that is a little too much. The similar stuff. Zoom in a little bit just to get more variation. that's how you do just basic floors. Nothing fancy like as much as walls are, but effective. No, I didn't. I'm gonna do the dark ceiling. I need the walls and the floors first before I do the ceiling. The ceiling is like the final thing. I know what I have in mind for it. I can't necessarily... I already explained it before. I don't think you were here. So this is the wall. The ceiling will be indicated by a little bit of a piece of the wall sticking out, which will cast a bit of a shadow just to give the wall more depth. And then you'll just curve it up into the blackness. It's you know, you'll see it. You'll see it. It's not necessarily something the best thing to explain. But I mean, I think this works as a floor. That's, you know, on a basic level, yeah, that's satisfactory. Experiences Haven flashbacks. What are you talking about? What Haven flashbacks are you having? Just, that just looks weird. And there you go. Just dull a little bit so it's not popping out. Because you don't want the floor to be popping out. The point is that it's supposed to be lighter and not pop out. Indeed, the art style, which is no surprise, but I see you put more effort into it and are more experienced now. I mean, Duel requires different things. Haven didn't have walls. It just, like, 3 maps of Haven had walls, and therefore 3 maps of Haven had ceilings. Duel is different. Duel takes place in a physical location. Haven took place inside of a guy's mind. It don't need no walls. It just needs floating islands, kind of like Skylanders, actually. Although Haven... I didn't play Skylanders at all before. I just played Haven. I'm just saying. Skylanders... Part of the design of Skylanders, by the way, that's really good, is the fact that they decided the world is just going to be floating islands. That's the world of Skylands. Skylands, floating islands. Why? It easily lets you not worry about connectivity. You know, you could have a snowy island, you could have a desert island, you could put them right next to each other. It don't fucking matter. They don't have to be connected environmentally. You know, you could just put them at different heights too. Boom, all of a sudden different climate. Fun. So it makes sense. So it's actually, like, that's one of the reasons they decided Skylanders is going to just have islands. Make it islands. Not one landmass. So that's actually something that, you know, a normal player wouldn't necessarily think about. But it's something the developers certainly thought about and said, you know, how do we make these environments diverse? And they were like, well, we can make them one landmass, but then you have an issue of, like, how you connect the environments and how everything is connected and... you know, stuff like that, and they just said, why not just make it a bunch of islands? Fuck it. Do islands. Don't gotta worry about none of that shit. Do what you want. At that point, there you go. Okay. These maps do take much longer than Haven maps, absolutely, because of the walls. There's a reason why I decided not to render full ceilings, because you know how long it took us to do the walls that we have so far, and they're still not really done? You know, just imagine how much longer it's going to be if I did the ceilings. It's like double the map time in and of itself, just because the ceilings are... Floors are easy. Floors were easy. You just got to fill them in. That's it. We are going to start ceilings, at the very least, today. But I want to throw in another painting just to see if we could divvy up the walls a little bit. So what we're going to do is take this, put it into a new file, just because I'm not going to take the whole image. I'm just going to take the kitty. Fuck the ducks. Didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for that. No, put background. There you go. That's the problem. Get rid of that. Crop it to the kitty. I just want the kitty. Image. Crop. This is actually not necessarily a title, a like painting. It's actually a mosaic. It's actually a bunch of little stones. You can actually see that. It's a bunch of little stones. A bunch of painted stones. Kind of like stained glass, but with rocks. Is how they did it. But again, this is an ancient piece of art. Again, not copyrighted. How many maps will there be in Duel? You know. Let me let me show you. I mean, I basically just set up the arena layout so far. There's really only like the cell blocks, the cafeteria, the hall, the main central hall, the barracks where you get prepped for your fight. Where is... Let me show you what we're working with right now. I mean, once this map is done, the reason I started doing the cell block first is the fact that the cell blocks can look reasonably similar. They don't need to be, like, they're a bunch of cell blocks. They're not going to be, like, this diverse environment. They're going to look pretty, don't get me wrong, but they don't need to be drastically different. So, yeah, so this is the arena folder, basically. So this is actually the map we're looking at right now. This is, you know, the template I had. Of course, like I said, even now it looks different in just less than 2 hours, actually. Felt longer for me, but I'm actually surprised how much we got done in just 2 hours. This is the cafeteria layout. This is the barracks / medical ward in the bottom left there. This is the main hall. And so, like, these cell blocks don't need to be that different. They don't need to be that different. Just to show you what we're working with so far. But how many maps will there be in the game total? I have no idea. I mean, probably not as many as Haven. But Haven had the benefit of multiple maps could use the same art assets in a way, with some variation to them. Because, you know, I'm copy and pasting walls in Duel. I copy and pasted art assets in Haven. And just rotated them, flipped them around, things like that. Just basic cheating things. Every game does it. Every game. No map in a video game is like 100% custom. I just spit. I don't care. Okay, this does not need to be here. This could go up here. There we go. Be a clipping mouse. Should have actually done this with the other painting. Live and learn. The opacity. Not too much opacity change here. Like very little, because like the other the painting was like this. But that just doesn't look great. Something like that looks fine. Sentiment. The lines don't need to be so visible. There you go. Again, these paintings might be moved around. I'm obviously going to grab more paintings. See, I don't want to Google for paintings right now because who knows what images I'm going to find, you know? it could be not good things. So, not gonna Google for shit that I don't know about. But, yeah. Yeah, like, these ones I'm gonna save for, like, the main haul. But, I could even do something, ridiculous. What I can actually do... What I could actually do is, take the face images, and I just thought of this. Let me know what you think about this, because I'm actually curious if that would be, like, acceptable. What I'm gonna do... Here's, Ilya. If this would actually be acceptable to them. Because why wouldn't the gladiators, perhaps, have some self-portraits? I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a good idea. But I didn't think of doing this, but I'm like, why not do that? Now, why wouldn't there be a self-portrait of some of these guys? So just sort of like... Doesn't even need to be the whole face. It could just be like that. Well, the gladiators live here? Yeah, let me know what you think. I want to see how it looks. But I'm like, I mean, they could conceivably paint self-portraits. Maybe even not do color. Right? Not do color. Because they're gladiators, they might not actually have color. So, actually what we would do is desaturate it. Not, like, that much. What's the capacity? What's it, 71%? I think it is a little random. A little random. A little random. Looks like a boss store. Yeah. A little too random, I think. Maybe if I softened it up a bit. Maybe let's see if I soften it up a bit. I mean, I also have to soften up this one a little bit, even if it is stone stuff and not actually like a full-blown painting. I still need to probably soften it up a bit. Let me see how it looks if I soften it up. Maybe it's just too big. Big? Maybe it would look better. Bit of the lips. Why is the flow at 100%? Oh, because I'm actually, whoops. I'm actually erasing, not in clipping mask. Whoopsie! That's not good. Not good at all. Okay, hold on. Redo. Okay. I was erasing things, not doing clipping mask. Why is pressing B not doing that? Pressing B, Photoshop, that's B for brush. Come on now. I was erasing things, not using a clipping mask. Because the whole point of a clipping mask is that it doesn't actually delete the thing. It's just hiding it. Sword stuck in the wall? Not unless it was like a story thing, you know? Because this environment will change ever so much as like the game progresses. You know, details will change, all that sort of stuff. I don't know though, it looks a little weird just because it's like my art versus like more ancient stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Not the biggest fan. Let's clean up the cat a little. I know it's a stone thing, so it wouldn't be as, you know, as like subdued as like stuff. But it still shouldn't be. So even less flow. Little variants like that. There you go. Okay, let's do dating on the stairs. There you go. Would the wall have to drop down if there were stairs? No. Not really. I don't think so. I mean, if we look at... Not really. Not necessarily. It could just be a split level. Something like that. I don't think so. I mean, it's not indicating how deep the stairs go. They could literally be just like this much of a height difference. You know, I don't think that big of a deal. Do you think it's that big of a deal? I mean, you can see, like, this cell, for example, could just be, like, a different height. Like, this floor here could just sort of slope up. Or if you really wanted to be really finicky about it, I mean, no one's really gonna notice, I think. But if you really wanted to be finicky about it, how is this area empty? Okay. If you really wanted to be finicky about it, you could do like that. I'm actually fine with that. And this actually had a stairs too, originally anyway, so. And then you could actually also... Why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Randomly selecting rectangles. And just to make the variance a little more available. That's fine. There you go. Is that better? Is that more satisfactory? That way, anywhere the stairs is, there's either a stair that cuts through everything, or there's a wall in the way. I mean, again, it could really just be split level sort of thing. And I don't think anyone's gonna terribly care. like, is anyone really gonna complain, like, in a review, like, man, those stairs just weren't correct. They just weren't realistic enough. 0 out of 10. Shit game. I don't think anyone's gonna care that much. Alright, where is the wall? That's the wall. That's the paintings. I want the ceiling to be above all that. Okay, let's go ahead and start at least putting the top part of the ceiling. The bottom part's a little more difficult because we have like curvy edges like this. But the top stuff of the ceiling, this stuff, pretty basic. Yeah. So we're just gonna... this. Hey. Not a fan of that color. And this, but this will look better. When okay. There we go. All right, what is that sound? Okay. There you go. Now it looks more like a ceiling thing. Still need to do some variant stuff to it. You know what? I don't need to do that. I need to... No. Not quite what I had in mind. A little more strength. A little more strength. Getting somewhere. There we go. Oh, that's the smudge tool. Oh, whoops. The wrong thing. That explains my problem. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Like, I'm using the smudge tool. That was a big fail, wasn't it? Using the smudge tool. really affecting that bottom part. Oh, that's because that's... Yeah, okay, there we go. That should be okay. Let me turn off this. And fill the bottom here. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere. This is a process thing. It's a process thing. Gotta be careful. Careful and slow. Just so I don't accidentally hit the tool thing again. It's working. What we're gonna do... Okay. I just need to fix this because of how the engine understands it. I'll explain in just a moment. Because the way the game engine is going to understand this go. Oh, that's better. One second, Ruinat. So the way the engine understands it, if there's going to be two separate images, one image is going to be the layer that you are standing on, and the other image is going to be the layer that's above you. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Is that floor? Floor? That's the floor. Now we're cooking with motherfucking butter. This is the fun stuff. Light source, like I said, that's another program. We're going to do that in an entirely another thing. Lighting is not a thing right now. Lighting is not that big of a thing right now. That's too detailed at the moment. Too detailed. Too detailed. We're thinking too far ahead. Because imagine if I started doing this stuff at the beginning, like it wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. Big things first, detail later. And I know I'm doing detail here, but this is the next big thing. As I said, I'm not worried about lighting. Not worried about lighting right now. The lights are going to come from things, obviously, but I'm not putting that in at the moment. Because right now there's no lighting to anything. This is all just detail. Like, to a general degree, nothing like I said, there's going to be cloth on the wall, there's going to be other things like holes and stuff in the wall, things like that. I'm not worried about that right now. That's after the base stuff is done. Thinking too far ahead, buddy. Too far ahead. Step by step.
Baby, this is what you came for.
What the fuck is this? That is not gladiator music. What the fuck is that? Is that Roman music? The fuck is that? That is some bitch singing. That is not Roman music. Any kind of theme. That is some bitch singing. Rome Total War music. There we go. Can I get the OST for that? Give me that shit. Oh, you had a general idea. Who am I, Ruinat? Who am I? There you go. Like that shit. I'm not worried about lighting right now. It's not like an idea thing. It's a placement thing, and I'm not worried about it right now. Just wait, you're thinking like... You're like, we're talking about like building a human body, and you're like, what's the DNA? And I'm just like, we haven't even gotten a finger. Okay, we'll worry about the DNA later. Like the DNA of a painting. We're not worried about the DNA. Okay. Now, Now look at that. Now it's finally starting to look like something. Finally, I told you it takes time. It takes time, my man. This is actually really good progress, I think, for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think that's pretty impressive for 2 hours and 20. And the big thing that we did is all we did was take away the base layer. Take away the base layer, fill it with black. The ceiling is, again, a process thing. But it also helps deviate the walls a little. That part of the ceiling is that. Okay, that's an element of the ceiling, but where is that located? What layer is this on? On that, there's okay. Don't know how it got on the wall layer, but okay. Okay. Oh, that's nostalgia. That's nostalgic right there. We can cut the wall a little bit, it's fine. We're still doing, like, base work. Still just, like, defining things, not detailing things. Defining things. I'm gonna go back in and fill any little lines like this with stuff. I just want to see. It's gonna look great when it's all wrapped around everything. It's gonna look great. The bottom part is gonna be more difficult because that's where things get curvy a little bit. If you look at that, that's looking good. Is it not looking good? Let me know. Let me know. Feel free to tell me if it's looking like shit. It'll absolutely be. But it's looking like something. It's starting to get there. Yeah, that's something. That's something. Duel is freaking difficult. Like, it's not difficult, it's just time consuming. But this is just part of the job. Boy, does it pay off. Where's the... I'm looking for? Where'd you go? There we go. There we go. That's all. Let me see what happens if I start piling these up. Okay, good. Because the drop shadow might have been an issue. But it turns out it's not. That was the cheap way to do it, and it might have not worked properly, but it just sort of gets rid of the drop shadow. It's like, it gets rid of the effect of the drop shadow. It keeps the actual shadowing of it. But yeah. There's a big piece. But I need to like downsize this. So Ruinite, you know how Haven is about 500 megabytes or so of data? This map is pushing like 47 megabytes so far. Like, this is the Photoshop file, though, so not the actual image file, which is obviously going to be much less. But, you know. Yeah, when it's actually an image file, it's not gonna... This is the Photoshop file, so everything's editable, and that makes a big 44 megabytes is nothing. It's nothing. But yeah, when it's actually like a PNG or something, yeah, it's gonna be like maybe 5. Not gonna be. See now, look at that. That's acceptable to me. You know, rather than rendering the entire ceiling, that is absolutely more than acceptable. I frankly think that looks way better than if I actually did render the ceiling. I think that looks way better. The bottom part's going to be tricky, but not technically the same sort of process, just curved. I was thinking I want to switch up what I'm doing a little bit. That carrot juice? No. But I've actually said I drink buy drinks a lot. What a buy drink is? I don't know, is that actually visible? Is that readable? There you go. Malawai mango. The webcam doesn't have autofocus on just because it would be all over the place. Okay. I mean, I could keep doing the ceiling, but I want to see if there's something else big I gotta do. Besides the curved stuff. Stream is sponsored by Vine. Yeah, I don't think so. Might just be an American one. Might be why you would never heard of it. Okay. Let me play with that other program just for a second. Block a new. See how big it is. It is 8.23 megabytes compared to the original map from RPG Maker. This was 688 kilobytes. This is 8.23 megabytes, and it's not even done. But how big was like a Haven map? Out of curiosity. So a Haven map, 887 kilobytes. This one is 2.59 megabytes. Kilobytes, 2 megabytes. Or if it's Haven was 1 megabyte. Like this right here was 1 megabyte. Like 1 megabyte, but wow. So Duel is like, get out. One of my Haven parts was 20 megabytes? Really? How did you get your video so small? But yeah, this is like a megabyte. And then Duel is like just what we have so far, which isn't even finished. This is 4 megabytes, so it's 4 times the data basically. Kind of crazy. It's not even done. Not even, yeah, 8. I'm sorry, it's not even 4. This is 8 megabytes. So this is 8 times. This is 8 times the size of a Haven map in terms of data as an actual working image that you actually get in the engine. That's crazy. Oh, did I kind of fucked up something, but I can kind of fix it. Because I think no? I didn't fuck it up, did I? Did I fuck it up? I did not fuck it up. Good. Okay, good. I didn't fuck it up. Okay. I thought I fucked something up. There we go. Nope, I didn't fuck it up. Because in order for the engine to understand it, so as you saw with Haven, Ruinat already knows this, but for anyone else watching, the way the engine understands the difference between a ground map and like a skybox image, so to speak. Kind of a skybox. The RPG Maker version of a skybox. So you can see this is the round version. This is not what you actually see in the game, though. What you see in the game is this. You see this. And I know because of the black preview thing, it doesn't look the best. But, it was showing up. Okay, whatever. But, like, for example, this is the Haven Coma that you see, Ruinat. This is actually what the ground layer looks like. This is what the sky layer looks like. So this is actually why you can walk under this tongue, because it's the sky. So it actually puts it on top of the player graphic. This is on top of the player layer. So this is all technically in the Photoshop image. This is all the same image, but I just hid certain parts, saved that as a PNG, hid other parts, served it as another thing. Jingle Jangle. What's up, Jingle Jangle? It's been a while. Welcome to the stream. You can read all you like, by all means. But yeah. So I wanted to take that dual map and just play with it. And gotta put that over there. Oh well. I've played with Sprite Illuminator for literally 5 seconds, but the point of it is to put light sources into images very easily. See what it does is it just has this light. See that? It basically does the lighting for you, and you can adjust this light. I played with it for literally 5 seconds, so this is like all I did was like this, and I tried changing the light. Those properties window view. Never really used. Yeah, there you go. You can actually change the brightness of it. That very nice thing. Very cool. Okay. But I just want to see project. No, does it automatically do that? Okay. So hold on. How do I've never used this program really. I just played with it for 2 seconds. So gotta figure out how I add things. I know it's built for sprites, but I figured I could also use it for maps. Add sprites, documents, dual art, maps. Ah, see, there you go. See? That's what I'm hoping for. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. If it was only dynamic. Right? But I just want to toy with this for a moment just to see. That's beautiful. So what I can do is I can actually add, of course, add another light? How do I add another light? Draw. How do I make a new light? I don't want to bother with tutorials. What is this other thing? Oh, a newer version? Remind me later. I'm not bothering with it right now. Is it possible to add more than one light? I could have sworn it was. Right, Illuminator, how to add. I got this program actually in a Humble Bundle, which came with like a bunch of game development stuff. This is like the only thing I really plan on using. How to add more sources. Is that possible? Use game object directional light to create a new light source. Okay. Game object. Weird, you would think it would be in the draw menu. You know what? I gotta take a piss. Yeah, I'll figure this out in a second. I gotta go take a piss. I want to add multiple lights to it. Or like torches. So Ruinot, it won't probably be moving light, because that is possible to do in RPG Maker, but this will actually keep things more dynamic and interesting, because you see how it's like sort of wrapping around the walls. I'm sure I could play with that even further and really make it wrap around the walls, especially because the blackness is not affected. See how black is not affected by the light, really? Which really helps actually sort of do it in and of itself. But I'm sure I can, if I actually go through like the tutorials, I can figure it out, which I'm not going to do on stream. I just wanted to test this out and see how good it looks with this little program here that you do the lighting itself. But this is the program I talked about in terms of doing the lighting, and I think it's going to look great when I actually learn all the ins and outs of it. I've literally used this program for 5 seconds. So, I'm going to go take a piss, though, and be right back. Don't leave, and don't watch me. Enjoy my Skylander show. Okay. Miss anything? No? Didn't miss anything? Okay, so how did you do it? A sprite kit, that's why. Sprite Illuminator tutorial. Let me just see if I can find a tutorial online instead of doing it in the program. Sprite Illuminator and 2D dynamic lighting tutorial. Because I'm just curious. I just want to know how to add multiple light sources, and also how to like tell the program that this is a wall. Wrap the light around the wall. Because I'm pretty sure it can do that. Create amazing 2D light effects. I don't really want to do this on stream though, because that's kind of bore you guys while I figure this out. Plus, it's completely new to me, so I guess I'll just do that off stream. It's not vital I do it now anyway, because this map still isn't done. You know, it's not even done. But I already like what I can seemingly do with it. Oh, I see. You can even do that. You would think it'd be easier to just add a light. Like, I just want to confirm that, like, I can add a light. I think this would be easier. That's not what I wanted. What's all this stuff? Just curious. Angles. Structure. Okay, that's doing some crazy shit. I'm not even sure what the hell that's doing. I'm not even sure what that's doing. Yeah, that's like... Okay, I'm definitely gonna need tutorials for this. Oh, I see. You can actually create tolerances by color. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to figure this program out on my own time. I'm not gonna bore you guys with me trying to fuck around with this, because I've never used this program. I could have sworn I created lights before, and I'm absolutely positive you can create more than one light. Because that's just the global light. You would just think it would be something obvious. Of like, where the hell stuff is. You'd think it'd be obvious to like add another light. You'd think it would be obvious. But apparently it's not obvious. But whatever. I just wanted to see how it looked without actually knowing anything about how to actually use it. But there you go. That's the lighting. Comes into meme and leaves. I mean, that's what Jingle Jangle does. I haven't seen him in like at least 3 months. I don't know. People are like, oh my god, it's an art stream. It's gonna be high octane action. Like, no. It's gonna be me fucking around. Alright, so let me fix up the floor a little bit. You know, just fix things up a little bit. There you go. A regular, or should I watch that? He's not a regular. No. I recognized his name, but no, it's not regular. I hit erase. Thank you. There we go. Fix these floors up a bit. But I'm very impressed with that program. I just assume I need to actually learn how to use it. You would think, though, adding another light source would be pretty easy to do, but apparently not, but whatever. I will do that off stream. It's not necessary anyway right now, because this map still isn't done. Until this map was done, I wouldn't bother putting... Like, lighting, like I said, is like the last motherfucking thing. It's like the last thing you do. Because then if you want to move something, it's like, oh no. But you can actually tell it where the height of things are. You can give objects height, basically. And therefore, it'll wrap the light around it as if it was a 3D object. So, very cool stuff with that program. And that is a program that is new to my workflow. Entirely new, obviously. So, it's something that Haven never had. I don't need to set up OneDrive, Microsoft. It's something that Haven never had. Haven, any lighting in Haven was basically just shadow, but it was all trickery. It was just all fake. It was just me personally doing it. It's very basic stuff. That program really adds that atmosphere to a image. It's mostly used for sprites, but I was like, I could use it for maps. I don't see why I couldn't. You know? And it would be perfect. Really enhance the atmosphere of this stuff. Why is the flow only 10%? That's like part of my problem right here. The flow is only 10%. It doesn't need to be 10%. Be more than. Okay. Cleaning up the floor here a little bit. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Why did that happen? What? Stop doing that. I know why it does it. It's such a bitch. I know why it does it. It's basically remembering where my cursor last clicked and then creating a line to there so it does it diagonally. So you have to like click first, then do it. Alright, where's the ceiling stuff? Let's go back to doing ceiling. For a little bit. Again, a lot, like, because this is a map drawing, a lot of this is process. I can also use Sprite Illuminator for the battlers, which I will probably do. I haven't done that yet. Because there's only one battler anyway, at the moment. But I'm saying, like, that Sprite Illuminator program is absolutely going to get used the fuck out of for Duel. Because I want to add that to my workflow. Because it makes lighting so easy. And just better than you could do it manually, honestly. Because manually take forever to do stuff like that. God. And again, the ceiling I'll tune up once we actually get it all laid out. Don't want to stretch it out too much. I don't remember how long maps took to make in Haven, but I mean, definitely longer than this, but probably not as long as when this map is actually going to be finished, because we're still doing base work. We're not doing anything fancy or any sort of real detail. We're not doing any real detail. Now let's just finish that room off for now, then we'll go do something else. Like I said, you should be able to jump around your painting and or drawing as you wish and not lose, progress or anything. The whole point is to have control over the entire thing, not just, one part. And I'm controlling this very nicely, I think. Did I label that thing sky? Yeah, okay. Because the sky layer is going to all be one layer. It's just going to be like the Haven stuff where the player is actually going to be able to walk under something. So like this thing is going to be a door here. There's going to be a door here, but there's also going to be a part above it. And that part you're going to be able to walk under, right? So that's the idea. I'm not rendering that right now, but I'm just saying that's how it's going to work. Just like Haven. It's no different. This is actually still part of the Rome soundtrack? Yeah, apparently. I ain't never heard these songs. I don't know. Is this like a credit song? Because I never beat that. Did anyone actually beat that game? I'm sure there's people who are, but I'm pretty sure that's like 2% of players actually beat that game, because that game takes forever to beat. File's getting big again. Let's go ahead and drop the ceiling down. So as long as I labeled the sky, I can basically go ahead and shorten this up. Yeah, see, that right there just took away 2 megabytes. That right there just took away 2 megabytes. Just doing that little bit. Because it's all of these drop shadow effects that are killing it.
I can feel my laptop getting hotter.
Like laptop, we're not even like done with this map. We're not even close. See, Duel won't have as many maps as Haven. Or not. Definitely won't have as many maps as Haven. Not because I'm lazy, I'm just because it's not gonna have as many, but the maps will change over the course of the game. Little things, maybe. Big things. Doesn't matter. But the point is, the images of the map will change as things change in the actual stories and everything like that. So there's going to be less maps, but they're going to be more detailed than Haven, and change ever so much as things go on. Again, I liken Duel to something like Deus Ex Human Revolution versus Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Mankind Divided takes place in one city, right? Human Revolution took place in several cities. Haven took place in several locations. Duel takes place in one location, which is actually more difficult to do than, anything else. There we go, that's fine. Yeah, so it was like 56 megabytes before. Now it's down to 42 just because I cleared up the ceiling a lot. But there you go. All these drop shadow effects that are piling up. Really what's killing it. Okay. Enough ceiling for now, I think. Let's see. I want to do... I'm thinking, like, what about, like, little other shadow things? And I'm like, let Sprite Luminator handle that most. The only shadow I've actually put so far in this thing by, like, baking it in is the little shadow above the ceiling. Is like, as if it was, like, a little, I don't know what you would call it. Relief? A little relief from it. I know for non-English speakers that's, like, sounding weird, but it's actually called, like, a relief. Basically. At least it's a word you can use. Not doing anything. Doors are going to be a separate image, like this. Doors are not going to be part of the big image. All right, we can clean up the walls a little bit more. I'm noticing some of them are bleeding into like that. Clean it up a little bit. Go. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just needs to be not noticeable. Just needs to be not noticeable. Like, you know, a wall extending out of the ceiling, kind of a big deal. Wall not necessarily being, like, perfectly lined up over here, not that big of a deal. Especially, like, this sort of thing right here, this not being lined up, that's just going to be covered by a ceiling anyway, so I'm not concerned about it. And now, because we have that ceiling, the walls being perhaps as repetitive as they are isn't even as noticeable, because now the ceiling is another visual element that distracts from that. So again, tricks like the paintings on top of it, tricks like the ceiling on top of it, it distracts from the fact that some of the walls are somewhat copy-paste. That way I don't have to make the walls as fancy as I have to. Saves me work. I guess we can start putting in some detail. Beds, things of that nature. I guess we could. We could kind of start doing that. So there's the floor. So that's all the ground stuff for the floor. Let me start organizing this stuff with some folders. This is all floor. Get in there. This is all wall. See if Alia looks any different with the ceiling. Okay, and ceiling. I don't want to clean all of the ceiling because I still need some pieces of it to keep, you know, copy pasting it, cover it all up. There you go. Way less stuff to go through for a little thing. I don't even know what this layer is for. No idea. What is this layer? I don't know what. Goodbye. I don't know what you were for, and I don't think you were relevant. Okay. What little details do we want to put in here? Are where they live. I mean, beds would be obvious, but I'm thinking like something more simple. Start up. Yeah, that's simple. What were you thinking, Carl? Oh, you'll see. put this above the floor. I don't know if you guys can read the text. There you go. Now we'll worry about color when it's actually. Built. Super nitty gritty here. This is where they pee. It's a detail. Come on, work with me. Don't know why I decided to get finicky on me right there, but alright, there you go, that's fine. Does the shine really need to... Yeah, well, we need another color. Add brown stripes. No. Just wanna. Just to give it some. I think it's sitting on top of. Can we do like 0.5 on that? Is that possible? Not possible. Damn it, Photoshop. That's fine. It just needs to be sitting on the floor. And we could probably make it even smaller than that, considering the size of a character. Yeah, we can make that way smaller. Why is it a thingy over here? What did I draw over here? Drew something over here. There we go. What did I draw over there? Oh, is it because I accidentally drew the clipping layer. There we go. And you can make that way smaller. And move it up. Come Might need to make it even smaller. I need to compare it to a character, but I didn't actually finish the character sprites at all because I need to make them abstracted. Because none of the because Duel doesn't really benefit from like the sprite art style in general, honestly, but there's not much I can do about that. But what I can do is just make the sprites not like have really much detail to them because they don't really need it, honestly. They just need to be clear as like who's who, and the easiest way to do that is to just make the faces of the characters sort of appear on the sprite, and that's about it, rather than do anything like this character has the blue eyes. Like, I'm not even going to do like eye color. I'm just going to make it like a shadow thing, you know? I'm not bothering to do that on stream though. I've embarrassed myself enough. I'm not great at spriting, so I don't want to do that. Okay, so there's a drainage thing. Probably still too big. Honestly, really needs. Literally, it could be that small. Not even smaller. It can get pretty damn small. It's just where they pee, honestly. It's important though, that exists. There you go. It's an important detail. It's vital to the story of the game that they have a spot where they pee. Absolutely vital. I mean, plus they had a sewer system, so it's like it works. I don't know what a hell of Roman toilet looked like, but I mean, for gladiators, you don't need a fancy toilet. Thought the pee would be fine. There's gonna also be a courtyard where there's like grass and stuff. Maybe even like, I might actually put like a grass field in here, and it might just be like, there might be like no actual ceiling above there. It might be like a skylight sort of thing, because they had things like that. You know, they had like a courtyard with like a little bit of a roof, and then like the center part where the open spaces that would just let sunlight go through. I might do that for like a barracks or something. Again, it's not going to be brown and gray. No, it's not going to be just brown and gray. In fact, I might like throw some plants in here. Some vines on the walls, things like various things like that to add color. Besides just the paintings. You could even like throw it on top of the painting. You know, that's how crazy it could start. Actually start doing that right now. Green in here. Again, I can always change the color, so I just want to draw it first. The only thing, it's not going to be anything terribly detailed or bigger than that. 4 pixels? Yeah. We can make a clip on the wall. That'd be nice. There we go. Oh, well. There we go. It doesn't go on top of it. Don't make it clipping. Don't make it clip. It's fine. You can just do it the other way. Being annoying. Being annoying. So let's do... a little too convenient. I move it, you know. You can always move it. I can do some shading on this, just as at the very least as a different color. Not too worried about the lighting effects fucking that up. And I mean, the additional lighting will still change it anyway. I just need it to pop. That simple. Too poopy. Better. And what you can even do is have like the vine go into the crack, sort of reappear. little too much. There we go. I do want to subdue these a little bit. They're a little too bright. That's better. Hey, you know what? I can take care of some videos, have a good stream. It was very relaxing. I'm probably gonna just end the stream soon, I think. Maybe? Because I don't know, it's gonna be a lot of detail stuff. I don't know how interesting that is for people to really watch. I could probably use some food. And I don't want to eat on stream, so I might just... I know I haven't been talking much, but, like, not much to really say. I go decentered. There we go. That's more in line. You know, we want it to be green, but not like, woo, like I'm shiny green. Like, you know, we don't want to do that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna call it there then. How many? Like, do we have many people watching? Because like, if it's quiet anyway, I don't know how many people are currently watching. Let me see if there's like a viewer number that Restream can give me. I think it's actually just you, Ruinot. I think it's actually just you. If you're still here, even. I don't even know if you're still here. But according to Restream, there's only one. So if there's only one person watching, then I might as well just call it a stream, honestly. And I'm going to do work myself. I'm not going to, do it all on stream. Because at this point, it's just detail after detail after detail. And I don't know how fun that is to necessarily watch. I mean, I don't know how fun it was to watch the putting together of it. But, just as like a send-off. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. But this is what we ended up with so far. This is not like the finished product. And it'll look... It's about this close in terms of how you see it in the game. About this close, about this perspective. About that distance. But this is what we ended up with today so far. And we originally had this. So we went from this stock graphic template thing to this. And I did say at the start of the stream it would look drastically different from the stock image by the time we're done even with the stream today. And I think it is drastically different. And not only is it drastically different, it's much better. Much, much better. Still has a lot of work to do because it is going to be a very detailed map. But I just can't wait to see the final result. It's going to look gorgeous with that lighting effects for the Sprite Illuminator once I figure that thing out. But that's still a long distance away. We still have tons of little things to add before I really bake into the map of the lighting. It's not going to be dynamic lighting, but it's still going to look damn fucking good. So with that, I think I'm done for the day, at least with regards to streaming. I might still paint on my own a little bit, maybe take a break for now, because I've been at it for 3.5 hours, basically, with just one pee break. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Have yourselves a pleasurable day. There will be no stream Monday. You know what? My camera got really dark, too. It got really dark because the natural light died down, and my, that's a problem. Oh, well. There will be no stream Monday because Memorial Day weekend for America, and so my parents are home Monday, so there's not going to be a stream Monday. So there will be a stream Wednesday and Friday. I will see you then. Skylanders Superchargers will be Wednesday. We're going to skip Trap Team. I'm going to play it off stream myself, but it's too poopy, honestly, and even off stream it's not like I'm necessarily enjoying it. There's mostly bad. Thank you, Ruinot. I appreciate you sticking around the whole time. I understand why people can leave and come and go because it is an art stream. It is slow. This is only 3.5 hours. It ain't even close to done. But it's getting there. So thanks, Ruinot. Thanks for sticking around. I will see you all Wednesday. with Skylanders Superchargers. We'll be starting that and probably enjoying the fuck out of that. I'm hyped for that after the abomination that was Trap Team. And Friday, who knows? I'll figure it out. But yeah, no stream Monday. I'll make a post about that like right after this. But Rape a Panda. Rape a Panda. All of them. All the panda. Not the pandas, all the panda.